Wide receiver Mike Evans. His one-game suspension has been upheld for what happened with him and Marshawn Lattimore. You all saw it. He came running off the sideline and smashed into Lattimore right there. Can't do it. Evans will miss the game against the Packers this week, and it looks possible that Chris Godwin and Julio Jones won't play as well. Who's going to catch the ball, Todd Bowles?
Well, we have depth. You know, anytime you lose quite a few guys at one spot, you got to worry a little bit. But we got guys that need to step up and make plays, and we kept them around for a reason, so they just got to go in and perform.
Diana, what? I mean, I opened it up by offering like this plea. If you can catch a football and you happen to live in the Tampa St. Pete area, Tom Brady needs you. Who is he going to throw to on Sunday?
You know, Todd Bowles has been really consistent with this. Have you noticed anytime there's been a problem with a starter or there's some injuries, what does he always say? Well, we've got lots of depth. Do they have depth that perhaps we don't know about? Because, guys, look at who's available. It's not great, right? So we know Mike Evans is out. Chris Godwin just comes back from this knee injury. Now he's got a hamstring situation that's lingering. I spoke to a source yesterday. It seems like this may be a long shot. Julio Jones, who knows with him? When he's out there and he's healthy, he's fantastic. But he can't stay healthy, so he's not very dependable right now. So what do you do if you're the offense in Tampa Bay right now if you don't have that many pass catchers? Well, you're going to look to your running back, right? You're going to look for Leonard Fournette to perhaps carry a load. But that just seems like a lot for him to do with all these receivers out for Tom Brady.
Well, I mean, he can both run it and catch it a little bit. What do you think about the role that Fournette might play this week against Green Bay?
Hey, strap it up. Put whatever you got to put on your body because it's going to be it's got to be one of those days. Yeah. I mean, look at it. I mean, Diane already pointed out. You know, Mike Evans out for suspension. Chris Godwin, you know, still coming back off the knee. Julio, you don't know where Julio. Nah. Where else can you go if you're Tom Brady? It's literally hand the ball off and throw it to Leonard Fournette. Those are really your only options.
You didn't hear they signed Cole Beasley. Stand up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all hands on deck. I mean, they probably got a help wanted ad out there. But when you think about it, this is a bad matchup because Tom Brady, his frustration with Scotty Miller last week. He's in the doghouse, but you have to trust him. Rashad Perriman, he's a guy but you know that these guys are situational type of receivers. So as a defense, you know how to handle that. So it's going to be on Leonard Fournette. It's going to be one of those phone booth type of games. Don't make any mistakes. Hope that But you got Aaron Rodgers on the other side.
Right.
So he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he doesn't have great receivers either. But he knows that he's going to have those receivers for the whole year. You knew you couldn't count on Julio Jones before the season started. You saw the frustration with the Saints last week. It might get fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Right? He thought that he could go and appeal the suspension, and maybe he'll be able to play this week until help can happen. This is the fastest I've ever heard an appeal heard, within a week. Mm-hmm. And, the NFL didn't fall for it. And listen, this is going to be a tough game, and Brady's going to have to pull a rabbit out the hat.
Well, look, I mean, last week they were able to win because they kept the game close and they waited for Jameis to make the big mistake. And he did several times over. To Bart's point, if there's one thing Aaron Rodgers doesn't do, he doesn't throw interceptions. So how does your buddy Brady win this game, Ninko, without any of his favorite weapons?
Defense. The Tampa Bay defense. If the Tampa Bay Bucks can get after Aaron Rodgers they have 10 sacks. They're leading the league in sacks, and they're blitzing the quarterback. They're getting after quarterbacks. So sometimes you're going to have bumps in the road. You're going to have injuries. You're going to have an offense that's wounded. Yeah. So you win with your defense. They're playing a Packers team that has an offensive line that we've been saying has question marks across the board. So you have a defense that's playing well. They're getting after the quarterback. I really think they're going to get through this injury bug. It happens. Sometimes during the season, mid-season, end of the season, you'd rather have it happen to you early in the season than late in the season when they're trying to make a playoff.
But Green Bay's defense is just as good. Who are you even going to waste Zaire Alexander? Who are you going to waste Zaire Alexander on? So now that means 8. I'm putting 9 in the box. I'm not afraid of whoever's out there on the outside. So you talk. Listen. Who can handle the blitz better? Brady or Aaron Rodgers, who's more athletic?
I don't think he played Tom a lot. Did he handle the blitzes okay?
Huh?
Did he handle blitzes okay when you were with the Jets?
Hold on, hold on.
Okay. Can't wait.
But how many people did we got to him though? And the recipe is if he can't go outside, he has to birth the baby. He can't buy time in a pocket like Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is a guy who can beat you with his feet. So now I'm blitzing all up the middle because you talk about the Tampa offensive line as well. They're beat up and banged up as well. It's not just a problem at the receiver position. They can't protect time either. You saw him last week.
Defensive battle. How about that?
It was does seem like what it figures to be. I couldn't even get that out. I'm so surprised by it. That in a game between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, it figures to be the defenses that dominate on Sunday in what could be a. As we get up with you, starting right now, the squad is ready on this Thursday. Nico is fired up. Bart Scott is ready to go. D. Wood is ready to go. But most important of all, we have Diana Rossini with us today. And I say that for a very specific reason. Because it was 1 week ago today on this program that Diana said this.
I think that the New York Jets are going to beat the Cleveland Browns on the road with Joe Flacco as their starting quarterback.
So as far as I'm concerned, Diana can say anything. There we go. It only took 6 years, but Diana got a bold prediction right on Get Up, and it was the most important one. It was the best one. Okay, let's roll. So we got bold predictions for this week to start things off, and Diana, I give you first shot at it. What do you got?
Mike, I'm going to stay in New York. I've got the New York Giants beating the Dallas Cowboys, which would mean that the New York Giants will go the month of September undefeated, something they haven't done since 2009. I'm giving the nod to New York on Monday Night Football.
I love it. D. Wood, give me a bold prediction for week number 3.
Yeah, how about the Detroit Lions? Seems like people aren't talking about them boys enough. Detroit Lions beat their division rivals in the Minnesota Vikings. This dude right here, Amon-Ra St. Brown, is a baller. Like, more people need to be talking about him. Detroit, 2-1 after 3 weeks.
He is special. Bart, who you got?
I think the Nathaniel Hackett experiment is a failed experiment, and I think the Broncos are going to get embarrassed by Jimmy G and the 49ers. The 49ers have their leader back, and the odds of them winning the Super Bowl should go up exponentially. Russ will get booed, and so will Nathaniel Hackett.
Tough start for the Broncos. Nico, give me a bold prediction.
And I'm all in with Bart on this one. I think Jimmy G is going to throw for 3 touchdowns against the Broncos. That's right, 3 touchdowns. Everybody, don't panic. Jimmy G's here. They're going to be fine. They're going to be in the playoffs. They might win a Super Bowl. Guess what, Jimmy G? He's your quarterback.
He'll throw for 3 touchdowns, and even if he only throws for 2, he's so handsome we'll count it as 3. Okay, those are the bold predictions. And it all begins tonight with the old rivals, the Steelers and the Browns on Thursday Night Football. On the big storyline, will this be Mitch Trubisky's final stand? Our football power index likes Cleveland, but slightly. The Browns, a 54% chance to win. That equates to just a 1-point favorite. But, of course, all the questions are about the starting quarterback. Diana, what can you tell us about how long the leash is for Mitch Trubisky with the rookie sitting in wait?
Yeah, Greeny, I need you to pump the brakes a little bit on changing at the quarterback position. As long as Mitchell Trubisky takes care of the football and makes sure those decisions he makes is in the category of positive, the leash is going to be long for him. As quick as we want to perhaps see the potential of a young rookie quarterback step in, because it is exciting and I'm hearing great things about him. I have for months, on the field, off the field. The sense I get from the Pittsburgh Steelers after having conversations with them for weeks now is they are fine with Mitchell Trubisky and what he's able to do at this point.
All right, so look, the fans are chanting Kenny, Kenny, Kenny. But you don't get to be the Steelers with all their consistency and Tomlin with all his winning if you listen to the fans. Yep. So I get that part of it. Diana is saying they're going to be patient. Bart, is that the right strategy?
If he struggles, I think you got to make a change. When you look at
this fast, we're talking about struggles tonight. They get a mini bye, like a little, 10 days off, then they play the Jets. Would you make the change that fast?
Yes, because when you look at it, the dynamic is changing, right? You start hearing Chase Claypool starting to complain, talk about not getting explosive plays. Listen, Kenny Pickett isn't some spring chicken. This guy's like 24 years old. He's one of the oldest quarterbacks. He was older than all the quarterbacks drafted last year, right? So I think he's an experienced guy. He's been in the moment. He's experienced. He played a lot of games in college. And you can't lose the locker room. And it sounds like they're starting to lose the locker room, and the locker room's starting to lose faith in Mitch Trubisky. They may have to make a change to try and generate a spark, because we didn't expect the Pittsburgh Steelers to be in this situation. Everybody in the AFC lost last week, so they're still in good enough position to maybe get a wild card.
Yeah, look, they beat Cincinnati week 1. It was a terrible win from an offensive standpoint. And then you obviously watched every snap last week as they played the Patriots. What are you seeing in Trubisky right now?
Well, there's the old saying, no risk it, no biscuit. Or no biscuit, no risk. Whatever.
You had it right the first time. Go ahead.
There you go. You have to take some chances. When you look at this offense, they're just kind of middle of the road. They're not taking any shots down the field, and you have a receiving core that is very talented. And something that's telling to me, when you watch after the play and you see a throw that's made, one of the interceptions last week against the Patriots, there was a receiver on the other side of the field. When he threw the ball, he started jumping up and down and kind of did the jump and spin thing. And when you start to do that, when you see receivers jump up and they're like, ugh, I was open. That's the frustration that you're talking about, Bart. When you have a receiving core that they can get open and they're talented, they are a fast group that can get open, and you have a quarterback that's not taking the chances and not throwing the ball accurately down the field, you start to feel that in the locker room of that frustration offensively. Hey, we can do this. We're not getting the ball.
So that's how one group might feel about it. But then let's talk about the offensive line, D. Wood, which you know better than anybody. They may have explosive weapons, but if you watch them try to run the ball, they can't. Najee Harris is getting hit in the backfield on every single play. They don't really have time to throw. Can you put a rookie behind that offensive line?
No. That's the biggest thing. It's like, much we sit here and talk about Mitchell Trubisky, they have bigger problems than Mitchell Trubisky. Is the offensive line up front. Those guys can't move my son, okay? They can't move my 10-year-old son right now trying to run block. And that's a big problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, their identity always want to impose their physicality on you. They want to run the football. You got a first-round pick in Najee Harris in the backfield, and you can't even use him to run the football. So we can sit here and talk about Mitchell Trubisky. That's fine. That's great for television. But the problem is the offensive line. And if you put the rookie in, you can't take him back out.
Right.
What if he struggles? Then what? Where are you at if you're Pittsburgh?
It's the move that you can't unmake. It's the same conversation that we were having in San Francisco. Final word.
I feel like sometimes a young player, when they come in the game, they got nothing to lose. They're just gonna go out here. I'm a young rookie. Oh yeah, throw a couple interceptions. I'm a rookie. It's okay. But at least he's gonna take shots, because you saw him in the preseason. What did he do? He pushed the ball down the field. Made some big plays too.
We'll see. Look, the team. Right now, it looks like they think their way of winning is by playing defense and not making mistakes on the offensive side. It worked week one. They turned Burrow over repeatedly. It didn't work week two. We'll see how it works against Jacoby Brissett.
Not the same defense without T.J. Watt, right? He sets the table, so not without him. So now you got to get